Welcome to the Canada Guns Talk Show, episode 71, Wild Wild West. I am your host, the Krover. And tonight we have an action-packed, unfortunately, episode. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We have the hunting gear guy, Elixir1302, and Crazy9. Let's start with you guys, because everybody knows what I'm talking about, but I want to know what you guys were up to in the last 3 weeks, because reasons we weren't here last week.
Same reasons as last time.
Fuck you.
No, I think it was my fault.
You weren't here, and I had a mortgage meeting.
Yeah. No, I was just about to head on an airplane. Before I headed on the airplane, I got this guy in the mail. There's a GSG 1911-22. Magazine's empty, chamber's empty, so I'm not going to AD into my TV or anything like that. But super cool little gun. This is it's a little bit lighter than a 1911, but it's the same dimensions, so it works for the holster. And the magazines are dimensionally the same as a 1911-45 magazine. So you can run this in a single stack pouch, and you can run this in a regular 1911 holster, which for what I want to use it for is perfect, because I want to use this as like an intro to handguns for people I take to the range. And eventually when my kid gets into sports shooting, this will kind of be like their first handgun, right? So I've already got a holster, I've already got a mag pouch, and I put a few hundred rounds through this thing over the last couple of weeks here, and love it. Not a single failure, not a one. So I cleaned it beforehand, but yeah, it's been running really good, super duper accurate, and loving it. I'm gonna clean it here on air just because it needs to be cleaned. I've put about 300 rounds through it, and 22 generally gets pretty gritty, but super fun handgun. I can't believe I haven't owned one of these before. Yeah,
But you have no issues at all.
not a one.
Okay, just let me warn you.
Yep.
Do you know about the issues that those have?
I've heard of the slides cracking, the magazine disconnect, and the grip safety I have already disabled, because heck with those. And there's one other thing. There's a Series 80 safety in here I might take out. I don't know. It's already got a 4-pound trigger, and it's crisp enough that I don't know if I care. I might replace the sights with a fiber optic front and a blacked out rear, just so that it matches what a competition gun should have, because these yellow fake glow dot things are not doing it for me.
Okay,
But do tell.
From what I heard, the internals are trash, made of plastic. Is that right? Or pot metal?
Pot metal, yes. A lot of internals are made of zinc or some sort of zinc alternative that they might be using in one of these.
If you look it up, there are better quality internals available for those.
Yes, I found a company that not only can you buy that better made internals, you can buy a full race 22 handgun from them. So like a race gun, as in like all the blinged out stuff, thumb shelf, even to tame that wicked 22 recoil, like everything under the sun.
You mean kind of like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can get like a whole bunch of stuff for them. Some people say they're harder to disassemble, but I mean, I just took off the slide in front of you guys. It's slightly more involved than 1911, but not ridiculously so. Here's somewhere where it's like a little bit lower quality. The recoil spring and plug is kind of like this cheapo aluminum kind of stuff. It's got like a little rubber buffer on there to handle the impacts from 22, because again, the slide is aluminum. It's not made to take a whole bunch of wax or anything like that. But no, fun little gun, super fun. I almost took a pistol class with this, and I'm regretting not taking the pistol class with this, because I think it would have been so much fun, and because my Glock grit really got to me over 2 days of shooting. So yeah, so that grit on the Glock works fine for a match, but if you're gonna run it for 2 days and run like 400 rounds through it, it gets to be a bit much. It kind of wore a hole in my palm right here from just from it like bearing against my my hand. So yeah, a little bit much. Let's see here. I went to New Brunswick. The first thing I did was shoot a maple seed and get one of these guys here. That's the maple seed rifleman patch.
Cute. I like that. That's cute.
Yeah, it's cool. So it's like a standardized test kind of a thing, right? If you can shoot riflemen, I guess you've got the fundamentals of marksmanship. So I shot that, and then
that's shot at 25 yards with reduced size targets, mock up of 100 yards, right?
Yeah, 100. I think it's like 100, 200, and 300. But like reduced size targets, right? So like man-sized targets as it gets smaller, you should be able to shoot like, at about an inch or two at 25 meters from prone. A lot of it is practice using the sling. So using a hasty sling where you just kind of wrap your hand in there, and then the one where you kind of cinch it up over your bicep, and then you use it as like a torque point to really get yourself some power there.
So that's not standing; it's just prone.
No, standing. Standing, you'd use a hasty because it's just easy to get into. That's where you face the rifle up. You stick your arm through the sling. You wrap it around, and then it gives you a nice, quick little hold. And then the other one, if I could just demo for you real quickly here, is where you. This is just a standard GI sling. You pop your arm through this loose end. You torque that one down. Now it's like stuck on my arm, right? And then this other side goes to the gun. So now this is actually quite firm, and it basically locks up your arm so that it's like a. Well, I mean, if you look at it, you got like two bones right there, and now you have a pressure string across them to lock them together, right? So it makes a very sturdy shooting platform.
I've seen that from the competition Garand shooters.
Yes, maple seed's based on Garand shooting. So a lot of the courses of fire they have, you start with 2 rounds in the gun, and then you reload with 8. Why would you do that? Well, in a Garand, you can cross up 2 and pop them into the clip, and then once you fired those 2 off, then you reload with a full 8 and you continue, right? So if I could show you guys the full course of fire, it's standing 10 rounds, pop them into this big guy here, and then you're going to do a transition from standing to sitting or kneeling or whatever. Sitting's the most like stable, so you're going to go sitting. You go from standing to sitting. You need to put 2 rounds and then reload, and then another 8. So that's 5 rounds into each target. Then you do another transition from standing to prone. That's you do these 3 targets here, and again, same thing, 2 rounds and then 8, and then you do the bottom ones here. This bottom one here, take as long as you want. The top one here, basically take as long as you want. The middle 2 are a little bit tight on time, so it's difficult to do this with a bolt action rifle.
What about a Martini Henry break action?
Whew, even more difficult. There was one old guy at our course who got it with a bolt action, and not only got it with a bolt action, but destroyed it with a bolt action. But he and his wife shoot a lot. They were both there. They both scored riflemen, fantastic shooters. I think he said he met her on a range. Oh man, if only.
How much do you want to bet that old guy shoots silhouette?
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah, because his accuracy was way up there, and not only just accuracy like off of a bench, but accuracy standing, accuracy sitting. It was all
and if
there.
you see it in their freaking machines, it's like pop, 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 pop. It's like it's on a timer in their head.
Yeah, exactly. And the accuracy was definitely there for him, and yeah, he was there just to like try it, and of course score maple like riflemen.
Yeah, those are the guys that have all 4 animals?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we actually shot silhouette as so for the charity shoot we did a steel challenge. So steel challenge is like a set of stages, and you shoot all the stages and get a score. Then we did silhouette. We did a round of trap, and one other thing. No, maybe that was it. No, that's it.
Ooh. Did you shoot? You shot trap?
I shot trap with a borrowed shotgun that I didn't really like, but
Ooh.
yeah,
What'd you get?
12.
Ooh.
Yeah, not super happy about it.
And,
But
was it
that's
just
fine.
a regular trap field?
Yeah, no, it was a 5-stand trap. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
You
like
got the
5.
5 fingers coming in,
Yeah.
and they like fling them out, and you rotate around like a little parade kind of thing.
Yeah. Did anyone teach you the holds?
No.
Because there's holds, and if you do the holds, you're pretty much guaranteed to get above 15.
Like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean like holds?
So if it's a standard trap field, and if there's a standard trap house, then there's a concrete bench, basically, what, 10, 15 meters in front of you?
Yep.
And the bench looked to be like maybe 3 meters by 2 meters, like a rectangle.
Well, you're talking about like the trap house, where
The trap house, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, here's a bit of a nerd out moment for me, for the trap folk out there. At the dead center spot, you hold dead center on the back edge of the house. On the spots directly right and left of that, so let's say if you were to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so in spot 2 and 4, you hold in the back corner of the house, and on the outermost spots, you hold 1 foot off the front corners of the house.
Is that to nail them like right quick as they come out?
That is to have your gun in the perfect spot to go right away. You look at that spot, you're guaranteed to have the perfect swing up to go one way or the other.
I
But
see. Yeah.
but it gives you like a perfect cone where you're supposed to be able to just go and pop,
Okay.
pop.
I'll remember that for the next time I shoot trap, which will be
Next Tuesday when I'm up there.
I don't know. I don't even know of any. Well, I do know of some trap ranges around here, but
I guarantee like there's trap ranges everywhere because there's old guys everywhere, and the old guys love to shoot trap.
Yeah. It's Anyway, so I shot trap, silhouette, and steel challenge, and didn't do terrifically well at any of them.
So did you have the animals set up for the silhouette?
Yes, we had I believe standard set of animals at 25 meters.
Yeah, it's a goat, a pig, a chicken, and something else.
Turkey.
Turkey, yeah.
Yeah.
And is the chicken the smallest?
The chicken is the smallest. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the goat's the biggest. Then
it's fucking stupid. Why is there a turkey and a chicken? They're both basically the same animal. One's just a lot smaller than the other one.
Well, I'm guessing one's like reduced turkey size, and the other one is reduced prairie chicken size, so that there's a reason to have different sizes.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that was fun. It was a good time. I've never been in New Brunswick and the Maritimes before. We put 2,000 kilometers on our rental car, so they didn't make any money off of us because we traveled so much. Let's see. Came back to Alberta. Shot the Furlachi training course. So Matthew and Trevor were from Slamfire Radio were out, and we went into a training course in St. Paul at a private range, which was gorgeous. Very nice private range. Kind of like a Hickok 45 setup with just steel everywhere, and targets at where we ran most of our stuff at about 7 yards over the weekend. I ran that with my Glock 34, the glitter Glock, and it was fine other than my contact patch right here on my hand, because as I would push out, I'd lock that left wrist in and it would rub a little bit. And that's also where I'm trying to control the recoils with your left hand, right? So that rubbed quite good here. So I just wore a glove for the second day and it was fine.
So you were Michael Jackson?
I was, yeah, I made that comment. I was Michael Jackson, yeah. One other thing. I'll come back to me afterwards, but I've got a really cool mag loader I wanted to show you guys too.
All right, so that's it for you for now.
Maybe get the Canada Guns podcast going, if enough people want to. Yeah.
It seems that now they're actually asking for it, so we might just do that.
Yeah, easy enough.
We might sanitize it and say fuck a little less. But all the memes and all
Why the
the
fuck would we do that?
So
I don't fucking
I'm
know.
not sanitizing anything.
But don't
we
you
will
know?
post-
Don't you know that we are like? What if people come across our content and they like only see a bunch of loud, obnoxious, swearing men?
That will be our angle.
Okay,
Loud, obnoxious, swearing men.
that's like an excellent tagline.
Hey, boom, got it. I got the tagline.
Oh, loud, obnoxious. swearing.
A lot of obnoxious swearing men talk about guns.
And the Mexican. Don't forget. Eric, have you done anything gun related?
He took his shirt off.
Oh, I can do that. Hold up.
No, I haven't done anything.
At all whatsoever. But did you lift, bro?
Well, yeah.
Of course you did. That's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you didn't do anything gun related, are you planning on doing anything gun related?
No, not really.
You're just the everyman in our case then.
Yep.
All right, I'll take that. Moving on. Hey, Chris, have you done anything?
Yeah, I want to shot this thing a lot. Like a lot.
Did it depopulate itself?
Yes, actually. I'm pretty sure that the trigger problems were caused by Cosmoline. I wasn't able to clean out of it because after going and shooting this thing in 42-degree heat or so, it had no problems with the trigger anymore. It developed some other interesting issues after 500 or so rounds of Remington bucket of bullets.
Oh my god, you and your fucking bucket of bullets.
So I sat there.
Oh, did you shave lead? You were shaving lead.
I don't know if it was shaven lead, but fuck if there wasn't a lot of lead in this thing afterwards. Holy shit. So anyway, I'm sitting there. I get
bullets
this,
back at you?
huh?
Bucket of bullets not plated or jacketed?
It's like painted.
Oh.
So what ended up happening is I get to the range. It's like swelteringly hot. I went on Canada Day, and apparently every fucking person in Southern Ontario decided they had to go to Niagara Falls to see the fireworks on Canada Day. So fuck everyone. It took me 2.5 hours to get there, an hour more than normal.
Well, time is
This is the only gun I brought that day. So I get there, I set up, I put up my targets, and then for an hour and a half, pretty much nonstop, load, shoot, for an hour and a half. So this thing got pretty fucking toasty. I got pretty fucking toasty. And the barrel of this thing got pretty fucking full of lead. Because when I got home and cleaned this thing, because it was not spinning anywhere near as nice as it does now, I had to go and take all the fucking lead out of this thing, and holy shit, like I look down the barrel and it looks like there's crap in it. I look down with the light and there's crap in it. Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm scrubbing it with the fucking brush, and silver flakes are coming out of the fucking barrel. Yeah. So there was some pretty fucking massive lead fouling in this thing. I don't know if I have the picture around, but I'm holding, like, in my hand, I was holding like a fucking flake of lead like this fucking long and about this half the diameter, like half the circumference of the barrel. Like, holy shit, I've never seen leading so goddamn bad. And I didn't even get all of it out. There was still more stuck in this fucking thing that I'm hoping I shot out with the CCI that I shot out of this thing.
You know what you want to do is just fill up the barrel full of hops and just let it sit pointed down with a.
No, the way to take care of like really bad leading is to get one of those Chore Boy copper scrubbers. Put it around your standard bore brush, because what's happening is these bore brushes just have tiny little bristles that they're using to act against that lead. It's not enough. You get some of that the copper Chore Boy. It's like a pot scrubber, right? It's still copper, so it's still soft. You wrap it around your brush, and you like make sure you're using a strong cleaning rod, because you jam that into the bore, it will scrape out the lead fouling, and you will get it out.
I mean, my solution to get it out was to take something copper washed and shoot it out.
That won't work, though.
It did on my SIG.
But did it work on this?
Let me turn on the torch on this stupid thing and find out.
The torch. Listen to this guy.
Torch.
Can you even see the lead against the aluminium with your torch?
Look, Samsung calls it a torch on here.
I'm busting your balls.
I don't know if you can see it on there, but they call it torch.
No, we can't see it, but please continue.
Yeah, it's too bright. Anyway, and then, the next time I went and shot this thing, when I shot those 500 rounds, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm just punching a larger and larger hole in the target, I'm shooting and thinking, I think the thing shoots a little bit left. So the next time I went out, I took 100 rounds of CCI, the mini mags, and a screwdriver, and decided that it was shooting left, so it no longer shoots left.
So did you bench it, or were you just shooting it and seeing him?
I sat there and rested the grip on the table, and fucking haired the trigger to make sure I got the most consistent groups I possibly could. And it no longer shoots left anymore, so that's a good thing.
Like the sight got knocked over or something?
I don't know. This thing was in fucking storage and God knows fucking where in Europe for who knows how long. So it could be that, or it could be there was one time it fell out of my safe and onto concrete, so that could have also fucked it up a little bit.
Go around dropping guns. Actually, you know what? I dropped my CZ, and it landed beaver tail down and hammered down on my bed frame, and it left 2 nice holes where the metal,
I was going to say it discharged because it fell at a 60-degree angle.
Oh no! That was the SIG. I'm talking about the ZZ.
My dad got his back from MD Charlton already.
What?
Yep.
I have an email saying that they're gonna contact me about it. How the fuck does he have his?
Because MD Charlton is a 20-minute drive from my house for their Ontario office.
But did he just literally drop it off?
More or less.
That fucking helps.
More or
Front
less.
sight on
Hey
this
Bob, can you put mine in and wink wink give me priority placement in this?
Front sight on this thing's a little bit loose, but oh well. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. It was shooting accurate enough. But that's pretty much all I did for guns is just go and shoot the fuck out of this revolver. I like it. Now that the Cosmos melted and the trigger is as responsive as it's supposed to be.
Is it still 1/10 of a millimeter of fucking travel to set it off?
Of course. You look at that. It's absolutely fucking nothing.
That's kind of what you want, really.
Can I show this ETS mag loader?
Do it.
All right. So this uses a cam, not a cam. It's got a surface in there that causes the bullets to go down and then in, so you can use it on a double stack. Not a double stack. A double stack to single.
No,
that's a standard pistol magazine.
Yeah,
it's a double stack, but it's not like a Colt style double stack. That's a real double on the top. It still just feeds through a single, right? So, anyways, you take this guy here. You pop your magazine in. This is the best for factory ammo. So you take your factory ammo and you're like, I want 10.
That's just cheating.
For Canada here, and then you grab something like that, and then you zip them in like that, and that's your 10 rounds. Pretty fucking slick, right?
Go to hell! What the fuck?
That's witchcraft, man. That's witchcraft.
It is witchcraft. Now, I've found it needs to stay oiled. You need to oil that little cam down there, or else it doesn't feed the best. But other than that, again, this is with flat point bullets, and that's the surface it's acting on to push them down in, right? So round nose work a little bit better. I find these CZ mags feed really nicely. The Glock mags are a little bit more clicky, and that last round on some Glock mags is kind of hard to push in. But boy, this is if you're shooting factory ammo, this is a super fast way of getting ammo in that mag. And Benny Lewis sells these in Canada. He's a guy that sponsored the charity shoot, and I wanted one of these to review, so I put 2 tickets in to the cup, and I won both of them.
Hey.
Also won a Glock stippling job from the Calgary Shooting Center. And what was the other one here?
Are they just gonna attack your gun with a soldering iron?
No, they have real gunsmiths. I've also got a PMag engraving in here. Not sure what that is. That could be neat.
Go and get the Hillary behind bars.
No, complimentary 20 PMAG engraving.
No, what you should do
20 PMAG engravings. I get to engrave 20 of them?
No. You know what you need to do? You need to actually say, can I actually get a dust cover engraved and get "Hey Girl" on one side and then send nudes in the other.
Oh, the possibilities are endless.
Or like that, or like instead of 20 PMAX, like 4 or 5 dust covers, and just like put one on your gun and send it out to all your buddies. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry for interrupting there, but that's the ETS mag loader thing. Only works for 9 and 40. Only works for like that kind of magazine, but works really well for him.
That's witchcraft. Witchcraft. Burn the witch. Burn the witch. I did have a question for you, Crazy.
Yes.
What's the double action on that?
I don't use it that much. Here, let me pop the cylinder out so I don't damage it. The biggest problem with double action is by the time I'm done, the barrel does like this a little bit.
Nice, you're good, scrub.
Yeah, you just got to pinch, like squeeze with your left support hand. You should be just crushing the shit out of that thing, and as you pull it, there shouldn't be any movement.
Oh yeah, you're right. When I push a lot on this, it doesn't move.
Interesting. So
almost
what
like
is it?
Almost like I just took a course on pistol shooting.
Almost. To clean under in here where this spins, which apparently you'd never have to do on a Smith & Wesson, but you have to do on this in a Ruger. On the Ruger, you got to take the whole fucking cylinder apart. On this, you unscrew that, pop the cylinder out, and then pull this up, and it gives you access to in there.
I've never once detailed my Smith & Wessons because they're not trash.
I've never had to on my 686 either, but apparently it's not uncommon on other things.
A 22 is dirty. 22 is dirty ammo, right?
Bullshit, man. I've shot 22 shorts out of my 617, and that just completely fucks up everything because there is absolutely nothing but space between where the casing ends and the actual throw of the fucking gun is. So it's got plenty of time for it to blow gas all over the fucking place. But shooting 710 feet per second shorts out of it, the CBs, it's like shooting a cap gun.
See, the thing with Smith & Wesson is I think they designed their arms differently compared to most other companies so that they don't end up with that kind of issue on them. Because when you look at this, like it's actually a fairly sizable surface area coming into contact with that there. Like you can see the size of the cylinder there when I pop this out. That's about the same size on the other side.
That's
so
pretty
it's pretty
dang
thick.
Yeah.
So that's why this, and even the Ruger too, it's got a fairly large contact area here for that. Whereas Smith & Wesson, it's that one tiny little rod that goes pretty much the whole way through. There's very little surface area, very little contact area. So it's, as far as I understand, like it's a fundamentally different way they've designed how the arm and the rod here work.
That shit's just patented and nobody can fucking use it.
I mean, by this point, Smith & Wesson's patent on it's going to have long since expired, but no one's really going to want to fuck around with that except maybe the Chinese or the. I mean,
why don't you? You don't have speed loaders for that thing, do you?
This thing, God no. The speed loaders wouldn't even work. The finger rest gets in the way. When you look at it there, you can see that.
Oh yeah, you're fucked. Never mind. I was gonna say take a measurement of the diameter between the rounds, and I'm gonna go measure the ones on my 17, see if that works. Yeah,
no, it just would not work because of this. But if that really helps me, like normally I do a revolver grip when I shoot revolver. On this, it's just completely uncomfortable because of how far out this grip goes. It really kind of forces you to do like more of the standard thumb over thumb grip on the side there compared to
thumb stacking. Yeah. That's what they call it, right, Adrian?
Yes, indeed.
Thumb stacking grip, then rather than your revolver grip like that. Like this is just completely uncomfortable.
That's just buttery right there, man. That's Dirty Harry right there.
Yeah, on my Smith & Wesson, that's how I shoot all the time because it's just kind of more comfortable.
You know?
No,
Words
that's
with
that
this.
for a revolver. That's fine because you can't like it's normal to try to get your thumbs away from the front, so you can't do two thumbs forward anyways. So it's normal for on a revolver to stack the thumbs and like not over top, but like next to it, just like in there.
On the Smith & Wesson, I do it over top.
No, I know what. No,
comfortable,
Adriel,
but
what he's talking about is how revolvers are shot. Like I know. I'm not trying to like say that you don't know, but
yeah. I'm just saying this one. It really forces you to do thumb stacking here rather than like trying to go over in the traditional revolver grip.
And the way that if you want to be using single action, you're not supposed to take your grip hand thumb and cock the hammer. You're always supposed to take your support hand thumb and cock the hammer with that.
Yeah.
It's I mean this is methodologies for an obsolete platform, so this is just
unless you're shooting PPC, which is literally the only form of competitive shooting other than cowboy action oriented around revolvers.
Yeah. And then have you seen like the fucking what is it the people that do not presentation shooting? It's got a name. Where like they like fucking quick draw like and their hammers are literally like a fucking nail sticking out of the fucking revolver because it's single action, so they literally like as they draw they're slamming their other hand back so that as soon as the barrel clears the holster they're fucking letting off a round.
Yeah, I've seen that shit. Isn't it gallery shooting or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
And sometimes there's people who are doing it with two and they're fucking...
Yeah, and they don't actually... Oh, Chris. They don't actually are using the hammer. Like, it doesn't look like a hammer. It literally looks like a freaking stick sticking out of the top.
I haven't looked at that. I always thought they would actually have like hammers with like wide spurs to make it. No, those are probably the guys who are fanning in cowboy action. They get the hammers with wide spurs.
The slow-mo guys on YouTube had an episode where they had a gallery shooter, and if you look at his gun, it's like one of those Colt single action armies, but with this completely messed up. Like it has no sights because they're obviously never using the sights. And it's just like a freaking stick sticking out of the back of the spur of the hammer. It's awful. It looks terrible, but it's part of the sport, I guess.
Yep.
That's you, right?
Yeah, that's all I've done.
Can I show you guys something like just real quick here?
Do it.
I just discovered. Okay, here's the GSG 1911. Here's a SAM 1911. Here's a GSG magazine for 22 LR. Oh, and locked. only with the slide open. Only with the slide open. Check that out. So it actually locks in the same place as on a 1911. I was curious because the magazine button there.
Now take the 45 mag and stick it in the 22.
I tried, and it didn't work.
Oh.
I only got about halfway up, but it was very nice.
What she said.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, sorry for the interruption.
Hey, no, that's what the show's about. Remember what the hell's the tagline? Loud, obnoxious, swearing man.
Yeah.
Speaking about loud and obnoxious.
Shirtless. Obnoxious.
Well, that's weather dependent.
Yeah.
Let's start with the nice things first. I sold the Martini Henry, and I made like an 80% profit on it. So,
nicely done.
yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
One way to look at that is someone wanted that gun so badly, and you found it for them.
I did. I did. Yeah, that's definitely how I'm going to look at it for sure. Yeah. Then I finally, like after like a month of placing the order through Brownells, I got my Brownells order. I got a pack of two 223 dummies, a pack of 308 dummies, those A-Zoom ones, the ones that are good, and a box of those dummy shells that you have, Adriel.
The 12 gauge?
Yep.
Nice.
And a set of go-no-go gauges for 308 because I wanted to check the headspace on my 308 after it blew up, remember? Actually, I got an update on that. It works. I don't know if I talked about it last time. I don't know if that was even
Was it not working?
Well, it blew up, so I wasn't sure if it was. Remember? So I took it to the smith. I'm not. This might be old news, but I don't know. I took it to the smith. The smith looked at it and went, "Yeah, the gun did its job, and it clearly didn't blow up. So you put it together, so the parts weren't broken. The gun cycles. The gun picks up brass. The gun picks up dummies. Go shoot it. You can leave it with us, and we can take it out to the bullet trap and shoot it for you and charge you $100, or you can go shoot it." So I was like, "Oh, okay. Give me a box of 308." So I went to the range and I shot it, and I didn't die. There was no significant point of impact change, so it didn't rattle the scope loose or broke it or anything. Didn't warp the barrel, just as accurate as it was before. So the Tika's alive. I still, at that point, I had already placed the order for Brownells like 3 weeks before, like 2 weeks after that, or before that, and then 2 weeks later, about a week, like 2.5 weeks after what the expected delivery date was supposed to be, they finally showed up. I had to pay $26 in duties to get Canada Post to actually deliver them.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. Fuck UPS. I don't know. I've heard that if you call them and tell them to just hold it at the sorting house if it's near you, you don't have to pay as many duties because they actually charge you to handle the package over the border and into the hands of another delivery service, which is, not fun. And then I went camping in Calgary on Saturday. Did anyone hear about what happened when I went camping on the weekend on Saturday?
Absolutely not.
Don't think any of us heard about that. What happened? You went. You got mosquito bites.
Yes.
Mhm.
Keep going. Let's see.
Drank a couple beers.
There was a rogue bear attack.
You had no shirt on.
Some beers were drank. No bears spotted.
No.
You had no shirt on.
I had nothing on actually at some point except the thong. It was great. Then someone showed up. A group of 12 people got out of a bunch of shitty old lifted Jeeps, asked us if they could shoot, and we told them that they could as long as they were being safe and kept the guns pointed down range. They said okay, and then everybody unpacked themselves from the vehicles, beers already open, sporting, on their hands. Then they took out their guns and proceeded to point them at each other. And I shit you not, one of them was checking their sight by pointing it at their friend. Then they were shooting, and they had a dog, and the dog was barking up a storm because it didn't like the gunshots, and they were just kept telling it to shut the fuck up. This went on for a good, half an hour, 40 minutes, and finally one of them pointed a rifle at me, and that's when I told him to knock that shit off. And then all 11 out of the 12 of them did what you do when somebody tells you to not point guns at random people, which is look down at the ground, kick some rocks, and say sorry. And then one of them had an issue, took offense to the situation, and, well, you can read about it on the post, folks. They pulled out all the stops, all the small town shit that you expect for somebody with such small stature and such big ego that is that drunk. And yeah, said that after as they were leaving that they'd be back, and they were back 10 o'clock at night with guns. So 2 cars pulled up. One of them pointed in the direction that they could, easily and quickly drive away. The other one pointing its headlights directly into our camp, and the guy stood outside of the car with a rifle. And he kept calling out to me, but either he was too drunk or too stupid to realize that I was standing right there. Nobody said a goddamn word to the guy except my friend who was trying to calm him down. And then once the guy got bored, he got in his car and got driven away because he was probably too drunk to actually stand. And he said that he'd be back later. Now, I'm curious as to what your reaction would be at that point.
I think you know what everyone's reaction would be at this point.
Well, what do you think? What do you think, Crazy? What would you do in that situation, sir?
Well, that depends. Do I have a firearm of my own?
Hanging from a tree.
with a bag of shells nearby.
Holstered.
Well, I don't know. What do you do?
Well, I mean,
mean,
as
no,
per
you never-
Canadian law, a individual who is standing there with a firearm and threatening you with it constitutes I believe would constitute a threat against your life that is immediately present. And as per our self-defense laws, you are allowed to respond with force that is reasonable to deter the threat against your life of that kind.
Adriel?
I mean, it depends whether you think the guy's going to shoot you or not. If you think the guy's going to shoot you immediately, you have to do something. If you think that you can do something to avoid anyone dying, you have to do that. You can't just off someone because it's possible that someone's going to get offed.
If you got a pissed drunk moron standing there with a loaded fucking rifle, yelling that he's fucking yelling for you and shit, and he's pissed off, that is a threat to your life. I think any jury, any judge, fucking any cop should realize that that man is there to kill you. And
but,
if you...
he didn't.
He did.
And
because he didn't know where Crover was.
Correct. And no one from Crover's camp took action on it. So within the right and like the right course of action are two different things. Do you want to do that paperwork? Do you want to be dragged through the courts? Do you want your name to be in the newspaper as someone who offed some drunk redneck, right? And I consider myself a redneck, so I throw that term around pretty easily.
Ditto, sir. Ditto.
The thing I'd be more concerned about is the psychological effects of having killed someone. And that's why I think anyone hopes to never have to shoot someone, is because on top of all the paperwork, there's the psychology, there's like the mental health aspect of it. Like, you just shot a man.
I'm sure it's different.
Well within your rights to do it.
For different people, some people would probably be okay with shooting someone. Some people probably wouldn't be. Some people would probably be really inconvenienced with the paperwork and the courts and being in the news, and some people wouldn't. What was the situation with Paul Hartnell where he shot someone camping?
Who was Paul Hartnell?
Paul
Harrell was more than that.
No, the guy who was in the SpongeBob pants who shot from within the bed. You guys have seen this video?
No.
Oh, God. Okay, well, I'll leave that for the after show so we don't just like go way off.
SpongeBob pants, bro. You gotta give us more details.
The thing with this is there have been cases where the police just choose not to charge because it was a quite clear-cut case of self-defense. There was one case I remember hearing in BC where a guy shot a guy with a .22 after that guy pepper sprayed him. So it doesn't necessarily have to whatever, but I'm pretty sure just about any cop is going to see a guy's got a gun and he's threatening you and you shoot him. The cops are going to see his corpse, his gun, his fingerprints all over it, and they're going to go, we're not going to charge you for this.
So this was Paul Harrell was November 25th in 2007 at a campground, arrested at the scene, but he got out. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Paul Harrell, I know you guys have seen his videos because he has since got into doing like self-defense videos and that kind of thing. And yeah, this was a campsite self-defense situation. He got off, but this was again in the U.S. and that kind of thing, right? I would do everything in my power to make sure I didn't have to make that shot, because I don't like, personally, I would not want the paperwork, would not want the attention, and would not want all my guns seized. I would not want all the stuff that comes with that. I don't care. I don't want all that stuff.
So,
personally, I'm not going to let some fuck ass point a gun at me and not respond in turn.
we've heard a variety of things. Hey, Eric.
What?
What's your take on all of this?
It's pretty much all been said. It's, life or death situation. I'm going to protect my life more than anyone else's. So.
Fair. That's fair. I didn't say a goddamn word to this guy when he was there with the gun. My friend did, and all he said was, just put the gun away. Talk to us, bro. What's going on? What's the situation? What are we doing? Put the gun away ad nauseum.
Yeah, he still broke the law. Like you can't brandish a
they do,
firearm.
they do.
That's breaking the law, definitely.
Yeah, I know.
Is there actually no law against being drunk and in possession of a loaded firearm? Because there really should be.
Using a weapon in using a firearm in a threatening manner is brandishing, and it will get charged for that.
I mean, there should be though still with them driving up there, drinking beers.
Oh well,
shooting,
actually, I forgot. I did forget to mention Buddy Boy, who was drunk when they were pulling off. He was driving, and he was blitzed.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I guess he was too drunk to drive this time, or maybe he just wanted to hold the gun on the way up. But he was being driven that time. Nobody else got out of the other vehicles though, so that was interesting. So I guess none of his friends really felt like showing up to this. I'm thinking he just dragged them out there.
There's no way in hell my friends are going to drag me out. Hey, remember that guy who told us not to point guns at him? Let's go teach him a lesson. Like, what the hell? What are you talking about? I'm going to bring this gun out there. I'm going to show him what's what. It's like, I want no part of this.
One thing that
if anyone, sorry.
Yeah, one thing that was speculated is that the other car that was parked behind the car pointing the headlights at us and was pointing in the direction so they could drive off was kind of keeping an eye on us. And I don't know, but maybe there was something else in that car pointing at us.
Could have been. If they'd have been smart, like not smart, but if they'd have been, knowledgeable, that's what they would have done.
Yeah.
You don't want to escalate that.
No.
Have a shootout over that.
No, I didn't say a thing because obviously the guy was too stupid, too drunk, or it was just too dark for him to see me. And he kept calling out, and then he got bored, and then he drove off. What we did after that is we tore camp in record fucking time. Usually it takes us about an hour and a half to tear camp. We were out of there in like 20 minutes, man. And as soon as we got back to the highway, we called, and they said, yeah, come on down to the Cochrane detachment. A nice constable took down our statements and told us that Sunday morning they'll probably try and get some guys out there, or at least let the COs know, conservation officers, what had happened. And then on Monday I called the RCMP detachment, and they told me they were too busy on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really, like, who wants to chase after, drunks driving around with guns and that kind of thing? That can't be a priority.
Guess not.
No. You got to give people speeding tickets.
Littering tickets.
Yes.
Spitting tickets. Cigarette butt tickets.
You can all spitting?
Actually, yeah, Cochrane's got one of those bylaws.
Really?
Yep. Here too.
Oh, wait, no, is it Cochrane? You know, Eric.
We have it.
Yeah. I think Cochrane's got something else like that, too. So I asked, well, if you didn't get anybody out there, did you at least let the COs know? The constable that I was spoken to, she said, oh, I don't know.
High quality television, everyone. You can't hit your mute button.
No. And then I asked, well, did you connect me to them? And she said, oh, we have our switchboard do that for us. I don't know how. Oh, well, do you have a phone number I could reach them at? And she said, Google it.
Huh. Interesting.
So I did. Alberta Parks is responsible for conservation officers. And of the area, the Cochrane-Glenbow district office is responsible for the Wipers area, Ghost Public Land Use area, basically everything north and east of Kananaskis. And the person I spoke to from Parks Alberta didn't seem to know if they were really in charge of that area or not. But they did give me a phone number that said, yeah, you're probably able to reach somebody there. Anybody care to guess what the phone number was for? Fucking guess, because you're not gonna get it. Just start throwing shit around.
Was it for the local park fucking hut at the fucking entry to some fucking provincial park or some shit?
Yeah, that's actually dangerously close. But go on, somebody else guess.
Local PD.
What local PD? I went to the local PD.
Yeah, I just assumed it would go back to them.
Oh no! I was looking for conservation officers, so at least they knew that they had to be something in Alberta parks. So, Eric, you get one guess.
I got nothing.
Fucking guess anything at this point.
Anything.
Anything. It was the phone number for the Wipers Sundry Campground.
Huh.
Yeah, see, that's why I mentioned it, because I actually read your post.
Oh my God.
You mentioned it in there.
Yeah, and I left a message, but I don't expect a call back. Today, I happened to go to the Canmore Nordic Center. I think that's the name of it. And I talked to the information desk because obviously they're Parks Alberta. And they said, huh, well, that's definitely the office you should be talking to, but I have no idea why they talked to you and told you to call a campground. So tomorrow, I'll be calling the RCMP again, seeing if they contacted the conservation officers, seeing if anyone is looking for these guys. Then I'm going to call Parks Alberta again, Cochrane District Office, see if they heard anything. And then I'm going to try and get into contact with a conservation officer.
Hey, Crover, you wanna shortcut all that?
Huh?
Yeah. They didn't. They didn't.
Oh, I know. I just need confirmation of that. So that when I go to the media, which I tried today, and the CTV News told me to fuck off. When I go to CBC, maybe they'll go and start knocking on some doors.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, like, really, the way to solve this thing is for you to get on the news and get visible. So someone's like, oh, that sounds like Dirty Harry and the boys. Oh, all up to their old mischief again. I guess I'll drop a tip off and, then you'll find 3 Jeeps all parked somewhere with a bunch of piss drunk rednecks and, Bob's your uncle.
Yep. I did have a lead, actually. Came in through one of the posts on Reddit. But I'm waiting for the pictures to see if it is actually them.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Reddit comes through.
One of my favorite parts about this experience so far has been the armchair commandos.
Mm-hmm.
The why didn't you? Why couldn't you? Why shouldn't you? Well, I did my best. Sorry, I didn't think to write down.
You failed all of us, armchair commandos.
I know, and I feel like I failed myself because it's perfectly reasonable to expect me to have written down the license plate number of these fucktards.
I think my favorite response was the one guy who said, "Oh, this is a case where the long gun registry would have helped. If you didn't write down the fucking plate numbers, why the fuck would you have the serial numbers of nondescript pistol caliber carbine on the fucking table?"
Hey, man, I'm like 90% sure the black shotgun was a fucking Browning BPS. Okay.
Well, the cool thing is that because it was a gunny who got guns pulled on him, you have such accurate descriptions of the firearms they had out there. Someone knows that guy.
Oh, 100%.
Someone knows. Oh yeah, I know. Dirty Harry's got all those guns, right? I know who's got that shit.
Are they going to make a soup kitchen in his Prius?
That's what I was going for. It's not Dirty Harry, though. It's Dirty...
Oh, I think
it's Dirty Mike and the boys.
Dirty Mike and the boys. There you go. That's the name I was trying to get at, but Dirty Harry came out. Anyway, someone will know him. Someone will flag him out. Hopefully, you just need to get on the news in that area, and you're good to go.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's the thing too, is you could try and contact a local paper or a local station.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Well, CTV News, like I said, told me to fuck off. Like straight up, it's like, oh, what's the point of the story, sir? And I was like, the cops aren't doing shit, and neither are the conservation officers. Well, let them do their job. Let them get back to you. Okay? Okay, goodbye. And he hung up on me. Okay. And he actually did say something humorous. Like, oh, yeah, what happened to you is really shitty.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I imagine
you.
they deal with a lot of people who have, shitty things happen to them. No, but you might want to try the local newspapers too, because small
That
towns, they still read newspapers in small towns.
That's true.
Yeah. When they don't have computers.
Where they don't have computers, and all you can do is go out in the fucking boonies, out for a rip, load it on a fucking Jeep with a shotgun, and go shoot the speed signs with a 22 and a shotgun. I guess now we know what kind of person does that.
I feel personally attacked.
Well, you mean to tell me, Eric, that you've never been out in the boonies, loaded on a Jeep with a shotgun, and you've seen a sign and gone, that sign right there needs more holes?
Well, I don't ride in Jeeps, and I generally don't shoot signs, so...
Oh, that sign's just like, stop? Fuck you. I'll stop when I want to. Fucking shoot you. I don't stop when I want to. I'm a free man of the land.
I'm a free man of the land.
Oh,
Diplomat, I don't recognize your authority.
I know we're joking, but you can almost see the rationale when you apply it to the situation. What the fuck? Who are you to tell me not to point guns at my friends?
It was unloaded. Why'd you embarrass me? Yep. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was unloaded.
This is why he was embarrassed. Right there. But anyways, that's it. That's the story.
Hey, Crover, now that you're done that story, is your SLR in yet?
I'm going to fucking kick you, I swear to God.
Hey, Adrian, when's your WK-180? I know there's been a couple of people who've gotten them.
I don't know, and I want to be surprised.
Oh. Well, what did they say that they're doing, like 100 a week now?
No, their top end production will be 100 a week. They're getting like 30 a week right now. And they've been glorious about it. They've been putting pictures, they've been putting videos, they've been doing fucking everything. Wolverine has like done all the right things with this.
Unlike a certain other few companies with their pre-orders of whatever, especially ones that are sourced from a communist country in Asia.
Well, let's see what pre-orders have been going on the last year that have already showed up. The WK, obviously.
Actually, the M10X, those ones are.
Yeah, that
M10S was never pre-ordered. They submitted that thing, and all of a sudden it was like, "Hey, everyone, we submitted this stag thing, not knowing what would happen, and it's not restricted. You want to buy some?" It was like they were ready like that week.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Stag Arms one. I think Crover was talking about that 7.62x39 one that was a massive PR shit show.
The abortion of an AK clone.
The M10X.
The Type 97 or the Type 81 eventually did come in. It was just like a year and a half late.
That was production, yeah. That took a long.
Well,
the Type 97 was the longest.
Chinese literally taking the machinery that they had said they were going to put up for the Type 81s and going, oh no, we're just going to make more AKs.
But that's what I mean, though, is Tactical Imports really did a piss poor job of communicating these things the whole way through all of that.
Well, no. I remember Tactical Imports putting up updates going, we just talked to China, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to make your guns. We're just going to make more AKs.
They started putting up the updates after, like, it was already 6 months late, and people were going, where's my gun? You haven't said anything. That's when Tactical Imports finally went, we talked to China, and they said, fuck to fuck ourselves. But it wasn't until that point that it was already massively late that Tactical Imports finally came out and said why it was massively late.
So China will delay that kind of stuff and will not tell the truth on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that Tactical Imports got screwed around on that one. And eventually they came through. It's just on the factory's own time, right?
I believe that they got screwed around too, but I can understand the people who say they should have been saying, like, earlier on, hey, we haven't really heard anything and we're trying, rather than wait until it's several months after the expected delivery date and then go, oh yeah, by the way, China told us to shove a gun barrel up our asses and step on the trigger.
Yeah.
No, or at least that it would be delayed.
But yeah, I'm fully expecting my like at this point, I don't think they're going to happen. At this point, Um, they just don't seem. There seems to be just a chicken shit outfit in the middle of nowhere, supposedly trying to put together a product. That's the thing. They seem to be trying to put together the product. Maybe they just simply run out of money. I don't know, because the post they had like a month ago saying, "Oh yeah, we just got a brand new CNC machine for this." What the hell were you using before?
They were using
Slightly
a
smaller
hammer
one.
and chisel.
Yeah, and the latest update was a freaking text message, I think, that somebody screen capped.
I've seen two recent updates, one in March and one in just on the 14th here, that were the same thing. We are in the last steps of machining, and the next step is anodizing.
Hasn't that been said for a while?
Yeah, it's at least twice that one's been said. I mean, like, putting out a new gun is not easy, but yeah, I mean, they put out the WK. They got the Stag is like, here's I guess the thing that maybe we're not seeing here. The Canadian manufacturers have a very short runway to make any money on this. Now that we've discovered we can sell the Stag 10S up here, how long is it going to take Stag to make an AR-15 version of the 10S? Not that long. What's their production capacity? A fucking lot. Like
Stag
they
arms?
will
Stag arms?
They will decimate the Canadian manufacturers. So the Canadian manufacturers have to work quickly to get good products out at reasonable prices. And if they F around with the timeline or with getting them out, they're going to get hosed. They're going to get all this investor money to build stuff. And then the Americans are going to come in with a cheaper, better product.
Well,
they got to get out fast.
When you look even at other Canadian manufacturers, what happened like 2 months after this SLR got announced? For the same price as a fucking upper and lower, Wolverine Supplies has an entire fucking rifle.
But it's not the same thing. Like I pre-ordered WK.
I would say that it is. I really do.
No, not at all.
Similar. I really think it's similar enough. Like the WK-180 takes AR-15 barrels.
It takes AR-15 barrels. The first ones are going to be carbine length, which is like not the end of the world, but not like ideal.
I thought they were
what you were looking for in the SLR was the ability to customize with AR parts a non-restricted firearm. Wolverine Supplies has given you that with a WK-180. It takes AR-15 barrels, it takes AR-15 grips, AR-15 stocks, AR-15 pistol grips.
It takes the triggers too. The triggers are a big one. I saw one guy had put a cassette type in there, and he had to file the bottom of this like the magazine
bolt stop.
Yeah, the bolt stop, and then that's it. And I'm like, I'm happy with that. I don't give a shit about like taking a file to my guns.
But that's exactly what I mean. Why it is the same thing. You get all those AR-15 accessories and parts that you were promised with the SLR. Except if you don't want to immediately jump into having to spend the additional $1,000 on all that shit, you have a fully functional gun for the same price you spent for an upper and lower.
Basically, at this point, when I built my SLR and I have all the parts, you've seen the pictures, a literal pile of parts on my workbench waiting for the receiver. Totaled out. It's $3,600. Okay? It's a $3,600 gun. That's non-restricted black rifle territory. But the SLR would have been as close to an AR more than anything else.
Yes, very much.
Now, performance. Is it going to be same? Is it going to be less? Or is it going to be more? And in my opinion, and this is my opinion, having not spent a second more than 10 minutes holding the gun at the Calgary Shooting Center. And from what they've done, it's not going to be there. The quality is not going to be there, man. This outfit is a chicken shit outfit out of a barn in Alberta. And there are outfits that are like that can show what they can do. And Maccabee doesn't.
Oof. Are you sure you want to be on the pre-order?
If I'm at $100 and I can go put that $100 towards another 900 towards a WK that I'm gonna get,
yeah. I think if this was a 1 month delay, for example, I think everyone would be fine. when they first gave the timeline, I think everyone was fine with it.
March. Remember, March, April,
February,
May.
March.
No, it was March. Like the email says March. I have them bookmarked in my fucking inbox. March, April, May, June, July, August. They're saying August. 6 months.
Are they saying August?
They're not going to deliver in July. That makes it August.
Well, that's your date that you're putting on it. No one said August. The official date, as far as I know, is a week or two ago.
If we go by their timeline of, oh, we're working on lowers. Oh, we're working on uppers. Oh, we're working on anodizing. The lower timeline, they said lowers for 2 months. And then they're on the second month of uppers. That means they're going to take 2 months on anodizing.
And they're going to deliver like fucking 20 rifles.
That's right.
Rifles? No, upper lowers.
The Calgary Shooting Center, the flagship retailer that's got them as their, God-sent source for these, has openly criticized them now. Mm-hmm. They are now openly criticizing Maccabee.
Well, they have to, because they like customer security, customer service wise, they need to let people know that it's not them that's fucking up and not giving updates or whatever. Right?
They stood by them for 5 months. 6 months looks like it's the cutoff for the Calgary Shooting Center, and I think 6 months is the cutoff for just about everyone.
Yeah.
Especially now that there is WKs in the market and in the hands of people.
Mm-hmm.
Having worked in retail, let me tell you, when a customer pre-ordered a gun and is waiting, or ordered a gun, special order gun, waiting 11 fucking months for it, when it's supposed to be a regular production thing, there's nothing you can do to defend the company. At that point, you're just like, I don't fucking know what's going on. Like, I remember my manager, he's like, I've been calling and emailing these guys every fucking day, and they haven't gotten back to me. Like, he threw complete blame at the fucking supplier. Because it is the supplier's fucking fault. Like, apparently he called Savage in the States. They had the guns made. So he's calling the fucking Canadian supplier every day, emailing them every day, and they're just ignoring him. So at a certain point, you just got to throw that shade. Like, at a certain point, you can't just defend the supplier. You've got to fucking, like, you're doing what you can to do it, and that's how you got to protect yourself. And
you own the customer. Yeah, you own the customer relationship, and that's the most important thing to you, right? As a retailer, that has to be.
You know what the latest thing that I'm doing is I'm looking at 10.5-inch barrels for my AR, because I order an AR because I'm sick of having a pile of parts on my bench. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna get an AR upper and lower. I got an Anderson upper and lower from True North Arms. I told him to strip the parts that I don't need. So I got him to get rid of the safety, the trigger, and the buttstock. And said, bring me that. And then I used the SLR pre-art discount code to get 11% off of those parts. And I got them sent to me, and they're sitting, waiting for me at the post office in Victoria. And next week, I'm going to have a gun.
Nice.
But I thought, what's the sense of putting that 20-inch barrel on that gun if at some point I'm just going to go ahead and take it off and put it on an SLR? Why do the work twice?
Well, especially for a 20 when it's a restricted anyways, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Why do that? So I'm looking at 10.5-inch barrels because my buddy's got one of those, I think it was an M&P 2 that Iron Guns imported in. Remember, it was like fucking $6.99 for the 10-inch macro model? He got one of those. And it's like, it's a sweet length, man. Those things, it's a good length.
Stupider. Build one with a 7.5-inch barrel and get the most loud fucking muzzle brake you can find.
I would, but the thing is, from my research, like 10.5 inches is just like, 5.5 inches is just loud. That's it. You're not getting anything out of it except noise.
Wait, 5.5 inch?
7.5 inch.
7.5.
Yeah, that's exactly why I want the 7.5.
It's a good flame. You won't get the concussion, but you'll get like a woof of flame out at the end. It looks really cool at night.
And it's loud as fuck.
Not as loud as a 10. The 10 burns more, and it's real loud.
I don't know if there's been too many 10s at Silverdale, but there've been plenty of guys showing up with 7.5s and just blasting everyone the fuck out of the range.
See, but that's the thing. From how I've handled guns up to this point, and we're about to shut the show down and go into after show because right now we're just bullshitting. But the length of pull has to be there for me. But if I can make a nice lightweight gun, that'd be good for, like, let's say my wife, maybe. And if it doesn't work out for my wife, then it can just be my fucking 3-gun rifle. It's already gonna have Adriel, by the way, I got a Geissele super dynamic 3-gun trigger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You want to sell it?
Nope. Actually, I wouldn't say that. Give me 2 weeks so that I can try it, and I like it. I want to sell it.
All right. If my WK comes in that time, too late.
Oh. Hey, no, I got it for a stupid price. You're gonna want to buy it. But yeah, like if I can just have this tiny little gun, and it's gonna be restricted anyways, and it's gonna be perfect for blasting shit at a 3-gun event, I'm gonna do that. Why am I gonna handicap myself by having a fucking 2.5, 3-pound barrel, 20-inch long? Like, is that gonna help me at all in anything, Adriel?
Nope. I make hits with my 16-inch barrel at 500, no problem. So you won't find 3-gun on the island that goes beyond that distance.
Nope. So that's it. I'm gonna keep my $100 pre-order until Maccabee contacts True North Arms and tell them to not give their gun to that dirty fucking Mexican. And with that, let's call it a night, fellas. Anybody got any plugs? Hey, Adriel, you got a plug, don't you?
Buy a GSG?
Slamfire Radio?
Oh, yeah, Slamfire Radio. Yeah, those guys were here.
Yeah.
That's kind of a neat podcast that we do every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
We raised $7 grand, $8 grand, $7 grand for charity. We basically funded the Dalhousie kids lunch program for a year. So like that area, whenever kids are like poor and they can't afford lunch, it's paid for because we like shooting stuff.
Woo!
Oh, you know what? Did I must have talked about the Chaz, like what we raised at that event, right?
Nope.
No.
We had a 2-day event. We raised 10 grand.
Nice.
10
oil
grand
money.
is
That's
decent
oil
for
money.
shoot. What's that? That's oil money. That's oil money. Oil gun money. Yeah.
Oil
but
gun money.
super sweet. Like we went down to the stallery and they took pictures of us, and yeah, it was cool. We got pictures of us giving a check to the stallery with all of our Chaz 3-gun shirts on and everything. Yeah, awesome.
Perfect. That's the perfect way to end this show. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here tonight. We will be back in 2 weeks. Say good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Moon.
And stay safe out there because there's rednecks out there.